What if I told you that your biggest flaws could actually be your greatest strengths? Sounds crazy, right? But hear me out. Imagine that the things you've always thought of as your weaknesses are actually the secret sauce to living a more fulfilling, joyful life. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you might just look at your flaws in a totally different light. Today, we're diving deep into something that's probably going to shake up the way you've been thinking about yourself. Now, most people spend their entire lives trying to hide or fix their imperfections. But what if I told you that by embracing them, you could unlock a whole new level of happiness? We're talking real confidence, inner peace, and a life full of purpose. Have you ever stopped to think about why we're all obsessed with perfection? Whether it's through social media, movies, or ads, we're constantly bombarded with the idea that we need to be flawless to succeed. But here's the thing. Perfection is boring. Think about the most interesting people you know. The ones who stand out. The ones who make you think, laugh, or feel something. They're not perfect. It's their quirks, their messiness, and their imperfections that make them memorable. Even the biggest names in history, think of Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, or Oprah Winfrey, they all had flaws, but it's those very flaws that made them relatable and human. When you recognize that your flaws are a part of who you are, you can see them as powerful instead of something to hide. Your flaws allow you to grow in ways you never could if you were perfect, and embracing that shift is the first step to living a more fulfilling life. This is the part where you have to let go of all the baggage you've carried around about imperfection. Stop treating your flaws like a dirty secret you need to bury. Instead, try to see them as a badge of honor. Let's be real for a second. Perfection is overrated. When you show the world your real self, you become authentic, and that's what truly connects you with others. For example, maybe you're someone who struggles with self-doubt or anxiety, and you've always seen that as a weakness. But here's the truth. Those feelings could make you a more compassionate person. You get it. You understand what it's like to feel vulnerable and unsure, and because of that, you can show up for others in a way that someone who's never experienced those things just can't. Embracing those flaws can be your superpower. It's all about shifting your mindset and choosing to value the real, unpolished version of yourself over some artificial version of perfection. Now here's where it gets really interesting. What if your flaws weren't flaws at all? What if they were actually strengths waiting to be unlocked? That's the game changer right there. Take a moment to think about your most significant challenges. Are you always running late? Maybe you have a tendency to overthink. Instead of letting these things hold you back, consider how they've shaped who you are. Maybe you're late because you care so much about doing things right and paying attention to the details. Maybe overthinking means you're always prepared, never caught off guard. By flipping the script on how you view your flaws, you can transform them into assets. Let's say you're a procrastinator. A lot of people would label this a weakness, but if you look closer, it's often the result of you being a perfectionist. You want things to be just right before you act, so your procrastination is just you trying to get it perfect. And guess what? Perfect doesn't exist. By recognizing this, you can start taking imperfect action and letting go of the fear of not being perfect. Flipping the script on your flaws can radically change how you approach challenges, success, and even your own self-worth. Now that you've embraced your flaws and flipped the script, let's talk about one of the most powerful aspects of embracing imperfection: connection. Vulnerability is a superpower. I mean, think about it. When you hear someone's real story, their raw, unfiltered journey, it hits differently. It resonates. It makes you feel like you're not alone. The key here is that by embracing your flaws, you give others permission to do the same. When you open up and share your struggles, insecurities, and imperfections, you create a space for others to feel safe in doing the same. This is how deep, meaningful relationships are formed. Maybe you're someone who's always had trouble opening up, but the moment you start being real about your flaws, you notice how people start trusting you more, sharing their own experiences, and forming stronger connections with you. This doesn't just apply to friendships. It applies to business too. Vulnerability and authenticity build trust, and trust is the foundation of any successful relationship. So when you stop hiding your flaws, you start to attract the kind of genuine connections that elevate your life. Now that we've laid out the steps, let's dive into some expert tips to help you embrace your flaws and make this transformation stick. This isn't just about recognizing your flaws, but about actively changing how you interact with them on a daily basis. So, let's get into it. One of the biggest hurdles to embracing your flaws is being too hard on yourself. The world already has enough critics. Don't let that critic be you. Instead, practice self-compassion. When you mess up, rather than spiraling into self-judgment, treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a close friend. Ask yourself, what would I tell my best friend if they were in my shoes right now? You'll be surprised how much easier it is to embrace your imperfections when you stop being your worst enemy. Start small. Every time you catch yourself being self-critical, reframe the thought into something kind or constructive. Sounds a little quirky, but hear me out. Keeping a flaw journal is a powerful way to track how your mindset shifts over time. In this journal, write down the flaws you've struggled with, the times they've affected you, and, here's the key, how they've actually helped you. Maybe you've struggled with procrastination, but that procrastination forced you to focus on the most important tasks under pressure, making you more efficient. Maybe your shyness has pushed you to become an excellent listener, which makes you stand out in conversations. This journal becomes a tool for rewiring your brain to see your flaws not as burdens, but as catalysts for growth. Sometimes it's helpful to see others embracing their flaws to realize you can do it too. Seek out role models or mentors who are open about their own imperfections. Look at how they navigate the world, how they turn their flaws into strengths, and how they communicate their vulnerability. Whether it's in business, art, or personal development, these role models can teach you how to lead with authenticity. And here's the real magic. When you see someone you admire owning their flaws, it gives you permission to do the same. Perfectionism is often the enemy of progress. One of the biggest barriers to embracing your flaws is the pressure to get it right all the time. So here's an actionable tip. Practice letting go of perfection. Start small by choosing one area where you can embrace good enough over perfect. Maybe it's posting a picture on social media without overthinking the caption, or submitting a project at work without tweaking it endlessly. Give yourself permission to be imperfect, and see how liberating it feels. Perfectionism can paralyze you, but choosing good enough can propel you forward. You don't have to do this alone. Surround yourself with people who love and support you for who you are, flaws and all. Find your tribe, those who lift you up and encourage you to show up as your authentic self. This environment will make it easier for you to embrace your flaws because you'll feel accepted and loved just as you are. And remember, those who are truly worth your time will love you more for your realness. When you embrace your flaws, the people who matter will embrace you even more. Don't just accept your flaws, use them. Think about how you can use your unique imperfections to grow in new ways. Maybe you're impatient, but that impatience can fuel your desire for fast results and drive your hustle. Maybe you're sensitive, and that makes you more in tune with others' emotions, helping you to form deeper connections. Recognize that these flaws are opportunities for personal development. Instead of avoiding them, lean into them and find ways to channel them into self-improvement. The journey to embracing your flaws isn't a one-and-done deal. It's an ongoing process. That means, along the way, you'll need to celebrate your small victories. Every time you embrace one of your flaws, whether it's speaking up in a meeting, sharing a personal story, or letting go of a perfectionistic tendency, take a moment to acknowledge it. Celebrating these wins reinforces your belief in yourself and encourages you to keep moving forward. Don't wait for big moments to celebrate. Recognize the small, everyday victories in your journey towards self-acceptance. A powerful technique for embracing your flaws is visualization. Imagine the version of yourself who fully embraces their imperfections. How do they carry themselves? How do they show up in relationships, work, and life? What kind of confidence do they exude? Take a few minutes each day to visualize this future self. By focusing on the person you want to become, you align your actions with your vision and take steps every day to embody that version of yourself. It can feel like a big leap, but this practice helps you start embracing your flaws with more confidence and clarity. So, let's recap. Your flaws aren't the end of the road. They're the beginning of a journey. Embrace them, flip the script, and watch how they transform your life. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one flaw you've been hiding? And how can you embrace it moving forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more real talk content, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Let's start a movement of embracing our flaws, because the truth is, we're all a little more perfect when we embrace our imperfections.